I don't think y'all realize how close we are to being a complete team. We are only two players away from being complete and ready to go to war. What is going on, Ravens flock? My name is Drastic, and I want to welcome you guys to another video on my YouTube channel, Flocking Ravens, where you guys already know on this channel we talk about anything and everything that has to do with your Baltimore Ravens. And on today's video, we are going to be talking about Demarcus Robinson getting signed to the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, that is everyone's reaction when we sign him. So last year, the Baltimore Ravens signed Demarcus Robinson to the roster, and there was a lot of people. I don't want to say upset, but they were still not content with our wide receiver core because we still felt like there was still something missing. We know what Demarcus Robinson brings to the table. We know what he is, but we were all like, okay, well, if the Raiders got rid of him after just signing him, there has to be a reason, right? He probably wasn't producing or something was off, right? So we were all kind of like, nah, we still need something else. But Demarcus Robinson from the very beginning, like even during the off season, I mean the preseason games, he was showing y'all why it was a smart decision to sign him to the Baltimore Ravens. Like you saw this even in the preseason games. Um and then obviously you saw it throughout the whole NFL season, right? The regular season. He was show here and there like some big plays, right? So we got Demarcus Robinson for a very good deal. It wasn't something that broke the bank, but it was something solid that he was obviously content with, and we got a lot of production out of him. And him coming back to the Baltimore Ravens will do so much for the team because, as you guys know, not just with the Ravens, but injury is a big thing in the NFL. And it could be in any position, it could be any day, any time, doesn't matter. Injuries is the most random thing in any sports, right? And in the NFL, and let's take it a step further with the Baltimore Ravens, it tends to happen a whole lot. A whole lot. So having having a Demarcus Robinson would be a great security blanket to have. Because if one of the players goes down, what better player than a Demarcus Robinson to have on your squad? Um, I think he could easily fill in any role that you put him in. And I think he would be a very great veteran to also have in the room because of the experience. You know, he brings that experience from the Super Bowl, from playing with a contender team, right? So he could bring that experience and energy into our locker room. So when you have a player like Rashad Bateman, I think benefited a lot off a Demarcus Robinson. And I think a Zay Flowers would also do the same, right? I mean, you obviously have OBJ in the room as well, but too much experience will never. I don't even think there's a thing as a too much experience on your team. So it won't hurt. Bringing him in will not hurt. And even if no one gets injured, you're gonna take some players off the field every now and then because every player is gonna need a break because they're running all game long, right? They're running their routes. So they're gonna eventually get tired. So when you put in a Demarcus Robinson, like I said, he could fill in many roles, and he's gonna produce. He's gonna get you production. So it just makes way too much sense to get a Demarcus Robinson on the squad. It just makes way too much sense. I'm not sure what they're waiting for, because it would be such a shame if someone picks him up before the Baltimore Ravens do. That would just break a lot of Ravens fans, because I already saw a lot of Ravens fans on Twitter, social media, everywhere, right? Asking to get back, to bring back a Demarcus Robinson. And Twitter will go crazy if another team picks up Demarcus Robinson.
You suck!
That would be everyone's reaction if he gets signed to another team that is not the Baltimore Ravens. I think EDC could easily bring him for a similar deal from last year, maybe a better deal, because obviously we're not going to need too much of his service now that we have a Zay Flowers, OBJ, Rashad Bateman, all of that. But it also gives those players, because they're coming back from an injury. OBJ and Rashad Bateman, they're coming back from an injury. It gives them a chance to take more breaks, because you don't want to just throw them in like every snap, right? Because you want to get them back in rhythm, like little at a time, not too fast, right? So yeah, we won't need his service too often, we hope, right? Because like I said, injuries is very random. So for that reason, I think EDC can negotiate a very reasonable contract with him. And I know if we get him, the fans would just like love it. I don't think there's any fan that could say, "Oh, getting a Demarcus Robinson was a mistake," because he gave us a lot of production. So I'm hoping for that signing. But like I said in the beginning of this video, we are two players away from being complete in my eyes. I think a Demarcus Robinson could be a very important key to being complete in the wide receiver core as we have it right now, right? Bringing in Marcus Peters. This is very, very important. I think bringing back Marcus Peters is just like Demarcus Robinson. It makes too much sense. It makes way too much sense to bring back Marcus Peters. So if we bring back Demarcus Robinson and Marcus Peters, I think we're ready to go. We're ready to go to war with any team. Just two players away. And obviously, the Ravens. They're going to do other little security blankets just for depth, right? But with those two players, I think we're set. We're going to be set. I don't think any fans will complain like, no, 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 we still need more, we still need more. um I just don't see that happening. So if the Ravens can manage to get those two guys back to Baltimore, Baltimore is set. Baltimore is set. And let's do this before training camp. Before mandatory training camp starts. Let's let's just sign these two and let's get it over with, man. Let's start. We're ready to win. Like, let's go all in. You already pretty much put in most of your chips when you got OBJ, Zay Flowers, all that. So let's go all in, Ravens. Let's get Marcus Peters. Yes, he does make some mistakes every now and then, but it's not like you see this every single game with the Marcus Peters. He just like everybody, they have an off day. You cannot expect every player to play perfect every single game. And Marcus Peters, like any other player, will have an off day, right? But he does show consistency. He does. um and you don't really hear. And I think last year um was very unfair to judge Marcus Peters because he's just coming back from that surgery, from that rehab. That's a long process, and with the position he plays, I mean, I guess this is with every position, but with him, I just feel like he just needed more time. And now that he has all this off time during this off season, I feel that he's only gonna get better. I don't see him digressing. I know a lot of people may feel that way because of his age, because of the surgery and all of that, the injury, right? But you have to look at every player not only from what we've learned from history, right? Because we've seen this happen over and over where a player gets injured and then a player comes back and they're not the same. We've seen that, right? But we've also seen players that when they get injured, they come back stronger. They come back better. And some even have like this agenda to prove everybody wrong, like a Derrick Henry. He came back like, I don't know from the top of my head, but he was expected to come back like, let's say, um, 11 weeks later, right? From when he got injured. He came back like 6 weeks later. And everybody was like, wow. And he didn't just come back like average, he came back strong. So Marcus Peters is a player that has the same mindset of a Derrick Henry. Like he is very, very, very committed to this game. And when you hear him talk about not only the Ravens, but just football in general, you can see where his passion is. He truly has that passion for this game, and he has a passion to prove people wrong because he loves talking, but he loves walking even more. Like he could talk the talk, but he can also walk the walk, and that's what he loves. He loves talking, but then backing it up. So I know he hears all this noise about age, about injury, and all of that. If you get a Marcus Peters, I'm very sure he's going to come back this year and he's gonna have something to prove. He's gonna have something to prove, and he's going to succeed. Like there's no way that we don't get the best out of him. So just like Demarcus Robinson, Ravens, don't let Marcus Peters get away. Don't let him get away. We have to bring back Demarcus Robinson, and we need to bring back Juice Man. With those two, we're ready to go. We're set. We're ready to go, and you make every Ravens fan happy. So with that, let me know down below what you guys think about bringing back Demarcus Robinson, which I know you guys are all on board. Marcus Peters. There is actually some people that have like replacements for Marcus Peters. I want to know who you guys think. If you guys would rather have somebody else, I would like to know who, because I want to compare them. Because Marcus Peters, for me, being what he brings to the table, I want to see what whoever you guys pick, what they could possibly bring. Like if they're gonna just bring great plays, cool. But we need somebody to bring that aggressive attitude. That's what the Ravens are missing right now. Because we got a lot of great players. But I think the issue in defense is we need somebody to play aggressive. So before you guys comment, make sure that your player is going to bring that attitude that we're looking for or that we're missing, right? So yeah, comment down below. Make sure to like, subscribe to this video, and also share the video and the channel with your friends and on all your social media. Let's grow this channel together.